this is a fundamental problem. We were invited in by the students to have the news conference today. And I said, we're going to do the broadcast from here, because when you own it, you can make those calls. Brother came up to me today and said to me, he said, I want to let you know that the NAACP, we're here, but we cannot wear our paraphernalia. And I said, why? He said to me at the state conference of the NAACP, sent them a note saying that because they did not get approval for this protest, they could not wear any NAACP gear. I said, well, first, this is not a protest. It's a news conference. And he showed me the text message. Now, I'm on a text thread where Derek Johnson, the CEO, is on it. And I put on there, I'm flabbergasted by that decision. And see, that to me right there, Jeff, is a problem. It's a problem when if we are standing in the state capitol fighting, again, I'm from Houston. Okay, I fight for Texas Southern, for Prairie View. Listen, I'm a Texas A&M graduate. I've called them out. I blasted them. But this is a perfect example for me of weak leadership, of impotent leadership. That what the message should have been is flood members there. Wear your shirts. Wear your hats. If you have students at Tennessee State and we're talking about fighting for them, then I need the Alpha president, the AKA president, the Delta president, the Iota, the Sigma, Omega, Kappa, Zeta, all of them saying we gonna stand with our chapters on those campuses. I'm not interested in seeing all the photos and the videos of who just crossed line if you ain't saying nothing about the money. Where is the Nashville Urban League? So again, I said on the show all the time, if you represent black people, which black people do you represent? Go ahead. I told y'all I own it, so I don't care.
My brother, in like fashion, there's a language that we speak that some people cannot understand. Since I left Tennessee State University at 22 years old, I ran a newspaper called The Third Eye for 11 years. I ran a theater company on Clifton Avenue called the Amon-Ra Theater for 11 years. I have a space called the Infinity Fellowship right now, 10 years in. There's never been a time in my adult life when I did not sign the front of the check. So it's different when you own stuff. Yep. Because then people can't tell you what to do. The issue in Nashville is the issue that is in very many other cities, as my brother elucidated. He's great. The petty bourgeoisie. We have an issue in this city. Again, since I'm not employed by anybody, I don't have a revenue stream, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in from outside sources and foundations and everything to pay me to say this kind of thing, I'm going to say it very clearly. Too many people in this city have been manipulated by small special interests whose job it is to create a city that disenfranchises the poor and black folk in favor of business and growth. Across the street from this church, Jefferson Street, Meharry, 10 years ago, you could get a 50 by 150 lot for about $6,000, maybe $1,200 if you were lucky. That same 50 by 150 lot is now $350,000. Behind Tennessee State, the place called College Hill, when we knew we were hurting as campus students, the NAACP, which is 2 doors down, showed up for us in full gear. Michael Grant was the president at the time. The Interdenominational Ministerial Fellowship, which at the time was the most powerful organization of ministers in town, Reverend Kelly Miller Smith, Jr., Reverend Wallace Charles Smith, all of these people came out and said, don't touch these kids. And they stood behind us. They didn't lead us. And that becomes a difference. They did not lead us. They said, what do you want us to do?
Right.
Which is the way it should be.
It's called we're here to help. We're here to have your back.
And we have your back. Because when you move into a space of elderhood, you're there for the young people. When they make a move, you follow them. In the absence of that, if the students are not in a space where they speak up, we have to be careful in this city, because there are people who will take the opportunity to grab this camera lens and this light to promote their own agenda, and much of the time it is tied to those special interests who are making the donations to the campaigns. I have seen people on council go from, we will not stand to the developer, to looking in their account and seeing $200,000 from the people they said they would stand about, and everybody got quiet as our neighborhoods disappeared. How does this tie to leadership at Tennessee State and how we move forward? Because many people who come into this space who are taught that the pursuit of capitalist ideals is the ideal, when they come in and they have potential and talent, when they have this fearlessness, somebody comes in and says, let me introduce you to the right people in the room. And instead of doing the right thing, they're convinced that they're doing the best they can. So when it's time for the cameras to come on, they show up, right, and they talk, and they're there. But when it's time to do the day-to-day work, many of these students out here I counsel personally, spiritually, as a spiritual leader. And they come in and they're crying and they're hurting because they say, nobody listens to us. And every time we try to tell our story, somebody from some random organization that we don't know about pops up and grabs a mic and won't even listen to us. We have got to get this balance in. That's why I'm grateful for you for coming to this city, because there are things that you can illuminate that other people in this city are too afraid to illuminate because their hand is in the bag. I'm not saying this from a judgmental space. Listen, my wife and I got 5 kids. I got 2 adults, 1 adult in about 2 days. They're sitting in the back row back there. 3 of my kids are in this space today. So I want them to hear this. Because one thing as owners, Roland, one thing that I can say my kids have never seen me do. They've never seen me be one person when I'm in these places, right, and somebody else when I get home. And a lot of our young people growing up are seeing that when they go home. So they're learning to play a game. Right. So this transparency as it comes to the university is, what are we, this generation, willing to sacrifice to make sure that the next generation can be here? And some of that falls externally and some of it falls internally. Yep. The board had an opportunity, if I can talk real, to say, let go of 3 people. The deal is you let go of 3 people, we're going to keep 5 in place. Now, as an owner and as a person who advises nonprofits professionally, that's real simple math to me. You line up 8 people and you say, who's brought in the most resources? Let's rank them 1 through 8. The bottom 3, write the letter in 15 minutes.
There you go.
And let's keep control of the school.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.